Hey, welcome back everybody. What I'm going to try to do or build today is kind of a speaker to go with my Raspberry Pi that I have mounted up on the wall here. I wanted to design it after a speaker that I'm guessing is from the 30s that's in an old resort that we stay at sometimes. Basically, I don't know, I'll probably just put a real picture in the video, but it's a bent piece of wood that's basically on the box that's on a wall then angled slightly down. So what I'm going to try, and this is the first time I've tried wood bending, is to bend the wood. I don't think I made my piece long enough. And basically I'm going to do that around this jig with some pegs. When I bend it, peg it kind of thing. So I'm going to start by putting a couple pegs in that I think I'll need right away. The wood I soaked in water for a couple hours. Use your hammer here. I'm going to start by putting the wood in here and trying to bend it this way. Alright, let's see what we got here. Here's the wood. I'm not sure. Hey, actually I probably want to go this way and bend it that way. That's going to be a problem. Since, oh my, that's not going to work. Not at all. I should hit it this way. Bend it like this without breaking it. Well, surprisingly, it actually does seem to be bending. I'm a bit concerned about it breaking. That may be a greater angle than I can achieve here. Seems it's all dry already. I'm kind of getting a break. Maybe a thicker round piece. Let's just run through. Yeah, that's not going to work. Second attempt at wood bending, I had some 16th inch basswood laying around. So I cut a piece and I'm going to soak that and try the same procedure with that. Round 2 here. I've been soaking my 1/16 basswood in a glass cylinder of hot water. That's all I've been doing this time. I didn't try the microwave thing. I'll just try this. It seems relatively pliable. The grain seems to be longer in this direction. Past. If this works, then what I'll do is bend 2 of them and glue them together. My goodness, it seems to, oh, if I went slower, a little more soaking, well, maybe that'll be alright yet. See, we got some splitting. I don't know, maybe something more gradual, bigger dowel to wrap it around. For my third attempt at bending wood, I've gotten some oak veneer. It's got a paper backing. I'm not sure if that's going to make a difference or what's going to happen, but I'm going to soak it in some water. Then I'm going to try to clamp it to shape. Now, so once I put them in the hot water, they coiled up very tight. The real trick is getting them to line up now because of the way they're so. If I can just get I cut them to precisely the size I want it, and I shouldn't have. I'm just try and get them here. I'm going to start pressing them in here. I'll just try pushing it in with my hands. Actually, that went pretty easy. I'll get something to clamp this in here pretty tight. I'll just let it like that for a while. Looks like I need another sheet to complete my thickness. I cut another strip. This time I'm soaking it in my water cylinder this way to keep it from coiling. I'm going to just pull these out. In case how they look anyway. Looks like it's a good bend. And I'm going to actually try to put this one on the front. Oh yeah. I'm liking it. Well, this is going to be a much tighter fit this time. It wasn't. Exact width I'm going to have to change up a bit. Oh. Well, maybe we can work with this, huh? Alright, well, that's a much tighter fit this time. That's what I was shooting for. Stick it to that. And just go clamp this, and in the morning I'll bust it open and then reclamp it with some glue. It's kind of impatient. It's going to take forever to dry inside the clamped frame. I put a few pieces of paper in there to snug things up. But so I'm actually using the jig I made for bending that didn't really work to just kind of clamp it in the bends that I formed with the press, so it dries a bit faster, so I can get to the gluing step. So I don't have a lot of time for my projects and don't feel like waiting days for it to dry. After drying overnight, they're all holding their shape. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually glue it and then reclamp it in the papers just to make it a very tight fit. I'm going to clamp it in there, glue it up, let it dry for a while, pull it out and see what we got. For gluing, I'm just going to obviously spread a thin layer of glue on each layer. Alright, so you can see I have it clamped in a vise here. I have some concerns. I should have had the paper sticking out on this side. So I have a little concern about the when the glue sets up. It's squirted out a bit, obviously. I've got the block out here. It's been sitting for a couple hours. I think that's enough for it to hold together. Just pull her out. Things are much stiffer now. See a lot of glue squirted out. But I think I'll be able to take care of all that with a little sanding. See, the front side here. It's all very stiff and rigid already. Now I'm going to have a couple forms that this will actually get glued to. For the meantime, I think I'll just leave it dry some more in here. And after lunch, take a look at it. Breathes a little better this way, and that way it's already very rigid. Feels pretty sturdy. Cramp those like that. It's pretty sturdy now. It's all glued up. I did a bit of sanding, a little more to do to make it even, but it's pretty good. Essentially, I'm going to clamp it in here to cut it off. Just wanted to mention on the speakers, I kind of looked around. I have a few of these. They're all the same size, 2 1/4 inches. It's basically speakers that I got from old computers and stuff over the years. This one's a much better quality one, so I'm going to use that one. I might have a source for another one of those, so but these are readily available just because they're all the same size. Any old computer has a speaker that size in it. So we'll clamp this down, and I'll probably cut it off with I have a pole saw. Let's see here. This is what I mean by a pole saw. It's kind of what you would use to cut off like dowels and stuff when you're putting things together. And you just kind of pull it like so. It can go both ways. So that's how I'm going to cut it off. Don't want to do that. They're very sharp. Don't want to go through and cut my fingers. Okay. I have the back cut off nice and smooth with my pole saw. Basically, now I want to get the heart pattern that is on that speaker on here. So I'm going to tape this in place, put this on here, and I'm going to just have it taped onto this block for support. And I'm going to scroll saw it out right on this block. This was, my press was cut from cedar, so it's very soft wood, so it shouldn't be a problem scrolling through that distance. I just kind of taped it on the top a little bit. at this point, having the sides in the right spot doesn't really matter. So we're going to just leave them like that. As far as alignment, I mean, obviously you want it centered on the picture. There's more space in the bottom than the top. I'm going to kind of duplicate that. Clearly there's a volume knob and stuff, that there's some equipment in the speaker that won't be in this one. That'll be external to it, but the lines are kind of meant to show where the ends of the wood would be lining up, so that's how I'm going to line it up. We'll just get around here. And we'll just drill down through to give access for the blade. Using a number 5 blade, I pretty much use that for almost everything I cut. Occasionally when there's very fine detail, I'll use a number 2 blade. Just kind of eye it up. It's one of those things where things don't have to be perfect to work. It's not like making some gear mechanism or something. So it seems like that's going to work out fine. Let's finish cutting this out and move on to the next step. Alright, we got it all cut out. Time for the unveiling of the finished product here. Well, some people ask me about the painter's tape I use once in a while. Usually just use the cheaper green stuff. Not that it's that cheap or anything. What brand is it? Oh, here it is. It's Painter's Mate Green is what I've been using. Some of the blue stuff, the blue will actually come out and stay in the wood where you're cutting sometimes. That's no good. It's lighter, I guess. I haven't noticed that problem with the green stuff. So the next step is I'm going to make the side panels. They're really going to be nothing more than just a piece cut out 1/4-inch oak. It's red oak, just like the veneer was. It looks a little redder, but once it sands and stains, I doubt you'll see much of a difference there. Just kind of lining things up here. As you can see, it's going to be very tight with the speaker. This is 1/4-inch, something more like 3/16 would have came out much better, but what I'm going to do in this case is I don't need a whole lot of space, but I'm going to put cloth on these sides, so I'm hoping that if I groove it a little bit, I'll be able to come in later and just kind of set the speaker in kind of at a diagonal. If I just kind of notch out the bottom of this a little bit on each side. So I'm going to just kind of mark whereabouts that would be, and shave off a little with a carving tool or maybe a sander. Alright, so I'll just put a little groove in here with this carving tool. Not really going to go through how I carve. Not the best at it, not the worst, but anyway. Basically I'm going to just clamp and glue this in here. Here we have the sides glued on. Spent a good deal of time basically on a flat surface, just flattening and sanding and stuff on a sheet of sandpaper. Everything nice, flush, smooth. Now on the inside I'm going to still put a strip here and a strip here, probably of 1/4 inch oak to frame it up. But I don't want to do that until after I put the speaker in. And I don't want to put the speaker in until after I put the cloth in. And I don't want to put the cloth in until after it's stained. So what I'm going to try and do very carefully is stain the outside of this without getting as little stain as possible on the inside. So I'm going to do that up. Looked around for different cloths for the speaker. Looks like the best option out there is something kind of a burlap looking linen. I went around different stores and found this at a Dollar Tree. It has a cloth that's not too bad looking for that kind of purpose. It's some kind of collapsible drawer thing. So I'm going to actually repurpose cloth from that. Basically you want cloth that's not too fuzzy, that's very easily passes air. I found some much better quality stuff at like a Joann Fabrics for needlework actually. That was actually linen burlap. Let's give this a whirl here. You're supposed to use like a lint-free rag, but I'm just using a rag-in-a-box rag. Okay. Fairly absorbent. I'm going to go too thick. I'm just going to get a coat on here. Never liked the staining portion of a project. Stinks, takes too long to dry, those kind of things. Here we have it, it's stained with red oak stain and 2 coats of clear shellac. It's dry enough to touch at this point, so I can continue. Next I'm going to work on the cloth grill here. I have the cloth I reclaimed from this collapsible storage container I got at the Dollar Tree. So, well, it's not exactly what I was looking for. At this size, you aren't going to be able to see the difference. And it's, whatever it is, I don't really know. It's very permeable to air. It passes through readily. So that's the property essentially you want in the speaker cloth. So I'm going to actually make it the size of the speaker itself and just put little dabs of glue, strategic points, and set it down on there. That way I have left as much wood as possible for gluing on whatever I'm going to use to hold on the speaker. So I'm just going to trace it out here. I'm just going to cut that out and glue her in. So I'll put some glue on a piece of paper here. Well, since the cloth is probably something synthetic, the glue itself wouldn't be perfect for it, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to kind of laid it in there and kind of made some line marks as to where about. It's not working as well as I want it. Maybe less of a point. I don't want it to obviously be on any cloth that's showing. Just needs to really hold it down. Okay, we're almost done with this project here. We got the cloth in. Now I'm going to just cut out a few pieces to hold the speaker in place. I'm just going to have it like a screw and kind of maybe a strap across it to hold it up there, and then a little something to hold the wire in place on the speaker. Let's see, there'll be a top piece and a bottom piece, one to hang on a screw, one with a notch to let the cord through. So I'll get those cut out and come back to the video so you can see those and how I'm going to put them in the box. 747. Oh, I should disconnect that. One of the first things I did, projects I did on my Raspberry Pi, was make a talking clock. Quick side note, quick note on the pieces that are going to go on the top and the bottom. You're going to have to kind of just line them up and mark them for the width, since the width is going to vary depending on the ever-changing thickness of your wood, or how wide the veneers came out. So on mine, I actually have the lines for the smaller size. That is what I came out as. Here we go. I have the supports for the speaker glued in. I have this will hook on a screw, the wall. Obviously I glued these guys in first just because it would be easier. Though I have a screw hole there. That's going to be a little tricky to get to with my screwdriver, but it should be alright. Because I'm just going to do something from here to here to hold the speaker in place. And then I just need to do a little notch for the cord to come out of the bottom. So when the speaker's in here. So we'll have a place to come out. And I have this cut out that's going to just clamp the cord down there so it doesn't pull where it's screwed on. I'm just going to do those couple things and finish up the project here. It's looking pretty cool. Here we have the finished speaker. Just a piece of fishing line tied around that screw, screwed in, and wrapped it around one with like a makeshift washer and tighten it down. Cords like so. Use a little better light. I think in the end, fairly good likeness of the original, although much smaller, of course. Thanks for watching. Bye.